3.
I'm going to take the Celtics because I believe they clean up the mistakes that they made in game 2. And plus, we know, Skip, after a loss, they're 6-0 after a loss. So they normally bounce back in grand fashion after they lose a ball game, which is a really good sign for this team. Going home, sleeping in your bed, get home, cooking the crowd. Your role players normally play better at home than they do on the road. And your stars normally play better. I mean, the stars should play well regardless. Superstars, it doesn't matter. You can put them on the moon or the blacktop. Jason Tatum, if you want, and that's the thing, Skip. If you want to be considered a superstar, when they say superstar Jason Tatum, not just star, not budgeting superstar, he has a chair, he should be at the table. If you want them, when they talk about LeBron and KD and Giannis and Luka and these guys, if you want to be mentioned want your name to carry that same weight, you're gonna have to start doing this. It's too many games like last night that gonna keep you out of this discussion. But I believe these are very fixable things. But the problem is that they fix it one game and it falls apart again the next game. So I'm not going to worry about game 4. I'm just going to talk about game 3. I believe they correct the turnovers. They needed to defend Jordan Poole like they defended him, and Steph Curry like they defended him in the fourth quarter of game 1. Understand that they're really not looking to hit the roller. They just want you to sink back so they can have separation to shoot the 3. If they take care of the basketball, Skip, even if it's a lot of ISO, if they take care of the basketball and do not give the Warriors easy buckets, run-outs, easy transition threes, they should win. Skip, they should have won this game by 7, 8 points. They should have been up by 10, 12 after the first quarter. But when you turn the ball over, you let this team, they hang around. You gave them 13 points in the first quarter. So you're down 1. Think about that. You're down 1 after your stars go, 6 of 9 in the first quarter from 3? 6 of 8? 6 of 10, excuse me, and you're down. They're going to win this game, and I'm going to get me 3 cases off you. And I'm going to come in here on Thursday with Jason Tatum's jersey again.
Okay. I have a deal for you.
This ain't no let's make a deal. Do you accept the terms of my agreement?
Let's make a man-to-man deal. If you will be a man and own up to the fact that you proposed a bet on game 2 and I accepted bet with no points involved whatsoever, you got the Celtics because you're front runner off game 1, and you will accept that, and that I won 2 cases last night, then I will take a 2-case bet straight up with no points in game 3 at Boston, in which Boston is favored by 3.5 points. I will take none of the above. I'll take Golden State straight up, but you owe me 2 cases, and you have to be man enough to say, you're right, I lost last night. If you'll say that, I'll accept the bet in Boston.
I did propose the bet.
And I accepted the bet.
But no. But Skip, you can't accept the bet because we were getting ready.
You can't welch on it and suddenly say, well, wait a second, there are points involved.
There are.
No, there are no points involved. You didn't bring up points. If you had proposed a points bet, I would have said, nah, I don't want to do that.
Here's the thing. I didn't know. My thing, you know what? Just because it's you. Okay, Skip, I'm going to give you little 2 cases. But in turn, I'm going to give you little measly little 2 cases. Little 2 cases do. But now I want extra case because I don't want to be tied with you in 3 games. I want an extra case. I want to be 1 case ahead after 3 games. So 3 cases, no points. I got the Celtics. You got the Warriors.
I'll be a man and accept that.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. 3 cases, no points, but I won 2 last night.
You got your little 2. You got your little 2.
My little 2.
Yeah, your little 2
or
cases.
Big 2.
Little 2.
Yeah, big 2. All right, I'm going to remind you, in game 1, with about 2 minutes left in the third quarter, the Golden State Warriors were up 15 points. I want you to remember that.
Yeah.
Okay?
We tracked them down.
Okay? You tracked them down. You ran them off the court. You blew them off their home court with a 48-18 run that I still can't quite explain because it's inexplicable. Where did my little man effing Stephen go? I don't know, because he scores 21 points in the first quarter, and then he slowly but surely sank into the Golden State sunset, and he disappeared. And he took 1 3 in the fourth quarter and missed that. And that was pretty much the end of Steph as we knew and loved him in game 1, correct?
Right.
But then he bounced back last night, and he had a pretty good game. Not a great game, but he had a pretty good enough to win game 2. So all of a sudden, they re-seize a little momentum, and they can front run. So here they go to Boston, where Boston knows it has lost 4 games in the last 2 series, 2 to Milwaukee, 2 to Miami. Yep. You're kidding me. lost all those games, I would watch those games mesmerized by how poorly Boston shot at home. They feel huge pressure from their fans. You can argue they have the greatest fandom in basketball, in the history of basketball, and it remains to this day. It is something. I've been to many, many games at Old Boston Garden, and they blew the roof off that place. I needed earplugs in there sitting in the front row, a press row back in the day when they allowed the columnists to sit in press row.
Right.
It got so loud I couldn't hear myself think if I had to type on deadline. So they are good fans. They're great fans. They're the all-time greatest fans, I believe. So they want this so badly that the pressure is exerted on those kids, and they crumble at home. And they're going to be out of their minds for a finals game here. What's the first time since the Doc days?
Yeah,
right?
2009 or 10.
9.
Because they lost to the Lakers. Remember, they lost to the Lakers. Yeah.
Okay, so it's been a while.
Yes.
And this is their moment. And I believe that the kids will crumble under the moment. And I think this will be a closer game because we had 2 wild swings. Obviously, it's kind of late third into the fourth quarter of game 1, and then just the back half of the third quarter last night. It was a wild swing. I'm not sure we're going to see that. I think it's going to go to the wire, and we're going to talk about him in a few minutes. I believe Klay Thompson will snap right out of his slump, and he will be a difference maker down the stretch. And I think Steph plays very well on the road, especially for the first 3 quarters. So I think it's going to be the classic. He'll carry them for 3 quarters, and I believe Klay will make some big shots late to close it because I can't trust either of your 2 young superstars, your 2 wingmen, to rise up together. If they both have big games together, they're unbeatable. It's like you told me about, which game was it in 2016? Game 5 or 6?
Game 5.
5 or 6.
Game 5, they both had 41.
Well, that's like...
Yeah, you're not overcoming
game
that.
over. You can't beat that. That's just extraordinary. You can't find that.
Right.
And if you do find that together on one night, that's all-time star power and firepower that you will not beat, okay? Well, if they both have a game in game 3, you got me. But I don't think they will both have a game. One will sink and one will swim. They don't seem to play together. I know there's been a lot of talk about, and I'm not into get rid of one of them because they're fine together. Right. They just are wildly inconsistent.
Because, Skip, I mean, they have very similar skill sets.
They do.
And neither guy is a facilitator. Right. Yep. And neither guy is a facilitator. Both guys really trying to go one-on-one. And so the other guy is very difficult. LeBron and Kyrie could play together because LeBron by nature is a natural facilitator.
Yeah. And Kyrie
Kyrie is a bucket getter.
He is.
So LeBron like, okay, boom, I can get you easy buckets. I can get you easier buckets than you can get yourself. The other guy, they can't really get the other guy easier buckets than what he can get for himself, or they don't trust him to that he can get me easier bucket, and they want to go one-on-one. But I don't need them to go for 40. I just need them not to turn the damn ball over 13, 14 times between the 2 of them.
Okay, I got you. That comes down to your point guard. I told you, I just don't believe, I don't trust, I don't highly value Marcus Smart as a point guard. I get him on defense, even though Steph does it to everybody. Over time, he will figure out a way. You'll get screened. You'll get blocked by Draymond.
And then he catch you overplaying him, and he backdoors you, and he got his array of layups.
Yeah, okay, I got that. But the Defensive Player of the Year is turning into an offensive liability.
Yeah, he's
both turning the ball over and missing shots and just messing it up. And there were games against Miami. There was a game against Milwaukee where he just unraveled down the stretch. Remember that game where he had 3 big blunders in the last minute and a half? Maybe in the last minute of the game.
Yes.
And he almost shot you right out of the finals down the stretch of Game 7. I just don't know. Maybe we'll see more Peyton Pritchard in Game 3. That would be to your credit. Maybe more Derek White. Maybe. But it all adds up to me that the momentum has shifted seismically back to Golden State. And once these guys get hot, once Jordan Poole had a breakout game, I think that momentum will carry over to Boston because he was shaky in his first finals game.
Right.
He looked like he was overmatched and overwhelmed by the moment of being under the spotlight of the finals. And last night, he snapped out of it.
Skip, to your point, the question that Marcus Smart has to ask himself, am I more of an asset on defense than I am a liability on offense? And I'm not so sure he can answer yes to that question right now in these finals because he was terrible last night. He was downright awful, and he's not giving you what he normally would give you on the defensive end. So I get it, I understand. But at some point, you got to start, and they didn't shoot the ball particularly well. No. So if they're not shooting well, how about not let them get easy buckets? They put a great free throw shooting team in the bonus at 7 minutes.
They did.
What the hell you think is going to happen? Mm-hmm. You got two guys on the team that shoots at 92% or better, Steph and Poole. Clay is a mid-80s to a high 80s shooter. You put them on the line that early, what you think is going to happen?
Final point. I feared a little bit. I was slightly concerned that going into this series that Boston would be just too big, strong, long, and physical for Golden State. But once they play Looney high minutes and they forget about the death lineup, the small lineup, what have the rebounds been in the first two games?
They've been close.
They've been just about even, right?
Yep. 42, okay. 43, 42.
Okay, so that's not a liability for Golden State. Right. They're just fine on the backboards, right?
Yep.
So all of a sudden, the Celtics' advantage in the previous rounds is no longer a dominating advantage in the finals.
They just got to do it, but they just got to clean up those turnovers. They clean the turnovers, they're going to be just fine.
Okay, so we got three cases. After I finally got you to give me the two big ones that I won last night.
Hold on, first of all.
Those are the two big
ones. So in other words, Vegas, hey, this is I proposed a bet, but I didn't accept your bet.